Namaste people, boys and girls, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Sangha Mitra, welcoming you guys with all my heart one more time. So guys, today the interview experience which I'm going to share with you guys is for Schneider Electric. Schneider Electric, as we all know, is a product-based company and it's very reputed and it's been in the market for a very long time. So I am going to share you my experience with them, the kind of rounds I have, the kind of questions I was asked, and I hope it helps you go through the interview process well. So the kind of rounds I had with Schneider was I was referred by a friend. So there was no written for me. I was directly moved to technical round 1 and 2. So I had 2 technical rounds. Wherein I was asked questions about my skill set, which was Java, Selenium, and I did work with Salesforce, so I was asked questions related to that. So in my technical round 1, the first round, the kind of questions I was asked was to explain my project, what my project was typically doing and how it was kind of helping the business, the technology I was working on. So typically they wanted to understand how much do you understand the infrastructure and the inline business behind it. So that was typically the whole idea of understanding the kind of project I was working on. The next thing they asked me was in terms of automation, what sort of challenges did you face when you were working in your very recent project? So I had to tell the kind of issues I have faced in terms of automation and what did I do to overcome it. So that explaining the whole process, there was a lot of counter questions throughout, and then I was asked on Agile and Scrum, what sort of roles and responsibilities I was typically working on, and what sort of challenges I was facing every day. How was I creating a difference or making a difference to the team? So that was the kind of questions I was asked in round 1. The second round was again technical, and I was asked questions related to Java. So I was asked questions on overloading, overriding. Can you overload a main method? Can you override static methods? So what do you get if in a hash map you kind of try to insert a null value or a null key? Is it allowed? Is it not allowed? What is the difference between a hash map and a hash set? So a lot of collection related questions, a lot of coding related questions on Java was asked. So I was even asked to write a program, a code on how do you iterate through an array list or something of that sort, array sorting or something without using an inbuilt method. So that was the code which I was asked to write. So in terms of Selenium, I was asked questions like, tell me what is a stale element exception, how do you handle different sort of exceptions, how do you handle dynamic table pagination. So those were some of the questions which was asked in round 2. So that was my 2 technical rounds, post which there was round 3 with so both these 2 rounds lasted for half an hour, and the third round was with the hiring manager of the team, the technical hiring manager, and that went on for an hour. So that was a round which you need to be really careful, because that's where they tell you about project and they tell you what are their expectations from you. And then they kind of ask you, with the introduction we have given you, what do you think is your contribution going to be, or how? So where do you think you can actually come and contribute or make a difference? So those sort of questions will be asked. There will be a lot of scenario-based questions, a lot of them. So make sure you prepare well and make sure you tell your real-time experiences, because you definitely need to have a lot of experience to answer those kind of questions. So I was asked, why did I leave my previous organization? What is it I didn't like in my previous organization? So when questions like this is asked, make sure you don't go ahead and tell, I didn't like my previous organization, these were bad things. So because you have worked with an organization and you're trying to move on to a new challenging role, that's the reason you're trying to switch. So make sure you make statements like this. Don't go and say like, I didn't like my previous organization or things like that. It doesn't work out that way, because that definitely shows you're not being, you're not being a loyal person, and that's not how you should be. Definitely call out the good things that you learn, because when you work for an organization, right, there are a lot of good things you learn. So make sure you point out what was good in your previous organization, what was the reason you're trying to leave or you're trying to switch. So make sure you give the right reasons. Don't go and complain, I didn't have a good manager or things like that. That's definitely not the right way to do it. So they'll ask you questions like, what do you think is it works for you? What do you think is your strength? Or in a difficult time or a difficult deadline in a project, what are your steps? What do you do to mitigate any sort of difficulties, or if there is any impediments, how do you work towards them? So these are kind of questions which will be asked. So a lot of personal questions like, what do you do outside work, things like that. So lot of questions will be asked, which will be scenario based, and you definitely need to share it from your experience. So after the third round, I had an HR round, which was not a salary negotiation round. It was just a fourth round where the HR tries to understand the reasons behind you leaving your last company, why you're trying to come to Schneider Electric, why specifically you're trying to look for their specific company. They're very, very particular about hiring, because product companies, they do not have backups. So if they're trying to hire you, they kind of try to hire you, and they don't look for an alternate or things like that. So they definitely need a word from you that you're going to join them. So they'll try to understand what are your long-term motives, what do you plan to do in the next 2-3 years, are you going to stick around or not? So a lot of questions around that will be asked, the reasons behind you leaving your previous organization. So questions like that will be asked. So yeah, I went through all those rounds, and then I had the final salary negotiation round with them. So in terms of salary, I was not okay with what they were offering, but definitely make sure that you negotiate your salary well, because when you switch, right, it is definitely a long-term switch, and you try to stick to the company for some amount, X amount of time, right? So that was the reason I couldn't join them. But overall, I had a good experience. It was a great learning experience. So I did try to understand, I did find out that they work with different technologies, and it's a really good company to work with. The reviews are amazing. So yeah, that was the experience I have had, guys, with Schneider. So I had around 4 rounds, and those were really lengthy rounds. So yeah, so again, the tip would be, make sure you have your basics right. Make sure you whatever you write in your resume is all real, and you have your real experiences, and be confident and be yourself, be authentic. That has worked, which will definitely work for you. If you do not know an answer, it's fine. You can always say, I have not come across a situation like that, or you can always guess. I could give a guess or something like that. It's fine. It happens. An interview is you're just exchanging, and you're just trying to share your knowledge, your experiences you have had. So be authentic, be real, be confident, and make sure you practice your skills, and do great. So that's pretty much I had for today. I wanted to share my experience with Schneider Electric, which was amazing. So for all those of you out there trying to give an interview, I would wish everyone a very best of luck. If I can do it, you can definitely do it. So all the best to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.